Stay connected to Kelsey Sobey and the Fox 9 Morning News.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Holden.
And I'm Kelsey Sobey in for Don Stevens. It's Monday, January 5th, and it is cold outside. Do we have to say that anymore? People will feel it as soon as they step out. Well, we clearly are back in the deep freeze this morning with dangerously cold temperatures across the state. But as we talked about, it may not be cold enough for kids in the Twin Cities to get a day off from school. School districts new this morning, 2 people are under arrest in a double shooting in Brainerd. A man and a woman were shot. Happening today, a former Lake Minnetonka millionaire begins serving his sentence after stealing from the welfare system. Colin Chisholm, I just noticed that upper layer on Solero too, where you have that beautiful view and that good space, but shutting down.
Always had good desserts there downtown. Well, Christmas has now come and gone, so here's a question. When do you take down the tree? We're going to look at a new poll to see just how long Minnesotans like to wait to do that.
It's more fun to decorate than to have to take it back down. Plus, just how safe.
Up 46 degrees.
Cold as ice would feel good, yeah. Right
yeah, that's
now.
Temperature outside Bacon Eden Prairie, just around the corner from here. Photographer Steve Panovich standing outside to get that shot for us, and he's, I'm sure, happy about that. Thanks, Pano.
It is cold outside. Yes, it is. We have a bit of a breeze as well. It's a slight breeze, but it is.
Keith, you know, despite this bone-chilling weather Keith was just talking about, most Minnesota schools will be in session today because it's not quite cold enough to cancel classes.
Yeah, and we want to know what you think about schools staying open and maybe what you're doing with your kids to pass the time of a day home from school. You can send us your responses on Facebook, as many of you have already.
Dozens of crashes on Minnesota roads. Our state still has the safest drivers in the country.
Something
according to a new study, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have to ask.
You're like about half the people in Minnesota. There's still a Christmas tree standing in your living room right now.
And that's okay, I think. Pioneer Press said, because we always try to wait till the new year. It just happened to be the best day.
Right.
You know,
it's convenient for scheduling.
And to do the deep clean. So it was a tree down and cleaning day.
See, for me, it's symbolic of the passing of the season. So for those of you who are a little more sentimental like me, it's hard to let go.
Yeah, it goes too fast already because people are so busy and so rushed, but eventually it does have to come down.
Eventually. I'll get on that. The final film in the Hobbit trilogy continues to rake in money at the theaters. The sports world is pausing to remember Stuart Scott, the longtime ESPN sportscaster who died from cancer this weekend.
Yeah, he made now is 4:46 time for our day starter, which is look at some of the top news headlines to start your Monday.
Happening.
He's being credited with launching the career of some guy named Paul. Some people are taking it to the extreme, but I'm sure there are a lot of young music fans who are much more familiar with Kanye than they are with Paul, John, Ringo, and George.
Right. Well, I can understand why you'd be more familiar with Kanye if you're younger, but to never have heard of Paul McCartney, that's
if your
surprising.
parents don't listen to it, and you know.
Man, Jesus.
Some great stuff.
Helping out a fellow guy.
Oh, some great stuff on Twitter. So just look it up. That was from the Inquisitor. They have a great article there.
Okay, we'll check it out. For those of you who are Downton Abbey fans.
But you got to give it to the BBC and PBS. That's season 5, still generating such interest. And the storylines, I've never watched. I can't believe I said that. But my wife does, and it was I think she put everyone in their rooms early and said, no one talk to me.
Mommy time.
It's Downton Abbey time.
Downton Abbey.
Well, it's weather time now. At 4:49, we're talking about the very cold. It's 10 below. That's the temperature this morning. We do have some school delays running at the bottom of your screen.
Right. It is cold enough that you want to make sure the kids are bundled up as they head out to the bus stop. And Keith Marler.
I want to ask why. Well, that story's next right here on this Monday edition of the Fox 9 Morning News. It's 4:51.
I want to crack one of those open and maybe have a little bacon with it.
It's got nothing better.
A Colorado man is heading to China to try to set a world record in what I think we could safely say is an unusual activity. It's called egg balancing.
It is.
Balancing point, I guess.
Yeah, my mom says we all have our gifts. Time to take a look at cute kids, find out who is up with us on this Monday morning. And you know what? A lot of you already are. Paula is up, and so are Shelly and Tandra and Heron.
Yeah, and Cody Johnson, good morning to you. A lot of you already probably up, getting your layers out. So, you know, it takes a little more time to get ready in the morning on a really cold Monday.
And add that to the fact that a lot of people are probably going back to work for the first time since Christmas or around New Year. So, yes, it is cold, and the sub-zero temps are back this morning, and schools must decide if it's too cold for classes. After the break, more on how they make that decision on cold mornings and the latest forecast.
Plus, welcome you guys to the Fox 9 Morning News. As we said, it's Monday and it's January 5th, and for some, this will be the first day back to work. So good luck to you, and
good luck out there.
Have to bundle up.
And your kids.
Well, you know, we got a little douse of cold on time. When we
so
walked back
ago,
in,
that 2014.
and we had those 20s below for temperatures
25,
and blustery wind cancellations and school closures in the Twin Cities. And so now when we talk about cold again, oh, well, it's cold after Christmas. Well.
Automatic closures, no.
No. This is what we do. Remember this? Northern
Happening today, Governor Dayton officially starts his second term in office after easily winning. The State Patrol says the driver who hit and killed a woman on 35E this weekend may not have known they hit someone.
Just turning 5:05 now on this Monday morning. A family in Savage, this is a great story, ditches its traditional lifestyle in favor of something much simpler and a whole lot smaller.
Yeah, a lot smaller. They traded their 2,000 square foot home for one just a tenth of the size. And as Fox 9's Jonathan Cho explains, it may be small, but it's still their dream home. Wow, a lot of good family time they're going to have there in those close quarters. Now, Jonathan says the Castle spent a couple of years planning to take this leap of faith, and they're willing to help anyone else interested out there in exploring the possibility of owning a tiny house as well. We do have more information on our website at myfox9.com. It's a part of the season, though, sledding. It would stink if there aren't hills to go do that at.
It's called
winter
survival.
Do you know how I hurt my finger? Do you know how I broke my finger? By not sledding. Had I been sledding, I would have
been okay.
I'd be fine.
I took
It may
kids
have
out the other
become
day.
sledding inside.
I'm going to sue Dubuque for keeping me from sledding.
Because of all the unhappiness that has now come to your life.
I was not able to sled.
Dubuque. Never.
Never.
You've never been to Dubuque.
No, but I would have gone had I been able to
You've
sled.
been able to sled.
I would have planned it, and we would have moved on.
They have now officially deprived you of any opportunity.
Oh, Dubuque, you don't know what's coming at you.
We are cold this morning. That's what's coming.
Thanks, Keith. The battle over the car radio may soon be a thing of the past. How a new stereo design could keep everyone in the car happy. That's coming up next.
Plus, it's been a hot spot.
Tom Butler joins us now with a look at today's business headlines, and a new car stereo system may finally get everyone in the car to get along when it comes to the music selection.
At least that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to cancel you out, and I'm going to cancel you out, and I'm going to listen to my disco. That's what's going to happen. Nice to see you. That's kind of neat, though.
That would be nice for parents, too, who
would,
always
but-
have kid songs in your head.
Yeah.
You can do your
I
adult
love
music.
you.
Yeah.
You love
It's always in Tom's head, that one.
Can't get rid of Barney. But you know, kids are on their devices, so is this too late? You know, is this one of those deals because they're always on? They have
That's a
their
good point.
iPads and iPods.
Already
and
in
all
their
that
own
kind of
zone.
stuff.
Or if they are listening to music, it's on their iPhone or iPod.
It's an interesting concept.
But it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I love the technology.
And it's probably only about $3,000 or $4,000
extra. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
It's time for our birthday scream coming up on 5/18. You share a birthday with actor Robert Duvall. And you want me to do the scream? Ah! Yeah, because not
Just a little-
He doesn't just have the flu. He
little
also
beat
broke
up.
his finger.
I like to do it up nice.
Yeah,
For the new year.
that's a twofer.
A little something for the
It
new
is.
year.
I tell you, I've never done I've never actually, to be honest, I don't think I've done the adult flu.
Have it again.
Yeah.
That's true, but I'm liking that Tamiflu stuff.
Making you feel better?
Whee!
They say it shaves a day or a day and a half
I'll
off
take
of the
that
flu.
day off.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah, because it's
that helps.
one day of less misery.
That's right. That's right. We are cold. That's what we are. As we head on out the door this morning, we have.
Now, the Gopher women's hockey team picks up a pretty big win at Ritter Arena. Got the highlights next in sports.
Plus the NFL playoffs. Hey everyone, good morning to you and thanks for joining us. I'm Kelsey Sobey.
And I'm Tom Holden. Dawn is off today. It is Monday, January 5th. And Keith, is this the day we say it's cold? Do we go that low?
We can do that.
right.
That's legal. Perfectly legal. As we have temperatures well below zero this morning, plus a wind chill advisory in place for the metro and most of our viewing area, and a wind chill warning for central and northern Minnesota, and that's, of course, led to some cold weather delays.
All right, thank you, Keith. Well, as Keith just mentioned, we are back in the deep freeze this morning with dangerously cold temperatures really across the entire state.
But you may not.
Happening today, Governor Dayton officially starts his second term in office. It's just something about the lights. I don't care if they're related to Christmas or some other reason. It just feels good. Adds to the ambiance. I'll get around to it eventually, I promise. As we look outside right now, those of you who are heading to work obviously have to get there somehow. So we're taking a look at transportation this morning and finding that while it is really cold and there is a risk for black ice forming, especially if you're in some thick traffic or maybe exhaust is able to actually get and hit directly on the pavement, or maybe underpasses, overpasses, bridges, those areas a little more susceptible to black ice. Right now, though, we're crash free, so we're not hearing of any particularly slick spots. And so it is a good start to your Monday morning commute. This is 694 at Silver Lake Road, as you can obviously read right here. And right now, traffic is flowing along just fine. Plenty of room still to move in this area at this early hour. We do tend to start off with light traffic levels. 35W at Stinson Boulevard. Those of you right here on the left part of your screen are heading in the southbound direction toward downtown Minneapolis, and plenty of room to move here, as you can see. So we don't really have any delays to talk about yet. Just smooth sailing. And again, I just want to Give you a heads up to watch for the chance for black ice today. Doesn't mean you have to drive slow your entire morning commute or anything. Just if you do see something that looks a little bit darker on the pavement, or you're finding yourself in that bumper to bumper traffic and exhaust is having a chance to stick down to that concrete, those are some of the places where you just want to be aware. In the South Metro, as you travel along 35W from that Burnsville split up into Minneapolis, a quick 16 minutes. Moving on to the southeast side, and we're nice and quiet whether you're traveling on Highway 3 or up on 52 into St. Paul. Full speed ahead. As we look to the North Metro, same here for those of you traveling along 694 in either direction right now. About 10 minutes between 94 and 35E, and that 35 commute looks great for those of you heading into St. Paul at this hour. And the Northwest Metro, usually one of the spots we see traffic forming first up here on 94 from Rogers into Maple Grove. We're still keeping things easy as we take a look at our drive times. They haven't gone up at all. We're just kind of moving into the morning rush type driving. We're not going to see, I think, the real build-up congestion until a little bit later on. But this is the first day back to work for many people, so expect higher traffic levels than you've seen in recent weeks, all right? I'll be keeping an eye on everything for you, too, and bringing you updates. Right now, though, it's time to talk about up next. Sports fans everywhere are remembering a beloved sports anchor whose catchphrases forever changed the way fans talked about the big game.
And once again, the Hobbit sports world is pausing to remember Stuart Scott, longtime legendary ESPN sportscaster.
He made phrases like booyah, and the time now 5:46. The final installment of the Hobbit trilogy stays at the top of the box office for its third straight week.
At Metro UK that has the 15 stages of going back to work in January. Hopefully this is going to help you. I don't know. Some of the highlights.
Especially if you just changed them right before vacation. Good luck.
And then one of my favorites also was what part of the project, or what projects were we working on in the first place?
Yeah.
Or where did we leave off back in December?
Huddle up and have a little discussion.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, this is a tweet to help everyone remember that sometimes really, really cold means really beautiful. This is from Matt. I know, it makes you say, wow, every picture you see.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, we've had the Ice Palace here in the St. Paul over the years, but they do that every year, don't they?
In China?
In that same spot.
I think so, yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Tradition.
All right, there are a lot of you are up already this morning, maybe New Year's resolutions to get going. Ann says, already at the gym, -8, got nothing on me. Way to go, Ann. Let's see, also Brianna's up, Amber, Carmen's up, doesn't want the kids to have to stand at the bus stop today. Most of them will. We do have some school delays and cancellations running at the bottom of your screen. And then Kenny, he says Keith does a great job doing the weather. Oh, we agree too, but you might not like him too much this morning.
I know, it's cold, we know that. We live in Minnesota, we expect this.
It happens in January.
But this is cold, especially colder than we had a few days last week, Keith. In 2015, this will be the first real full morning commute week we've had in the last couple of weeks. Holidays are over, everyone's getting back to work. So expect crowds to look a little bit like they did before the holidays. Now, with it being as cold as it is, a warning that we could see black ice forming. Really, the areas most susceptible are those where we have heavy traffic, which isn't happening now. And then the exhaust has time to stick to that concrete and form those icy conditions that are hard to see. Also overpasses, tunnels, anywhere near bodies of water. Just some areas to consider. Not seeing any incidents yet where we have crashes or spinouts, but just something to keep tucked in the back of your head as you head out the door. The crosstown at 28th Avenue right now near Richfield. We're moving right along. Plenty of room here. Same goes for 35E at Maryland Avenue. Those of you commuting into downtown St. Paul, moving along at full speed, whether you're heading northbound or southbound at this hour, and we're finding that really on most major area roadways right now. Some of those side streets, your neighborhoods will still see some snow and ice covering the roads. It seems like that's pretty much frozen on there until we have a good melt that happens, and sometimes you'll see those icy little patches stay for many months. 169 at 101, also smooth sailing. Our map as a whole, green everywhere you look. We love that. You really can't do better than that. Northwest Metro, that drive from Rogers into Maple Grove, a quick 10-minute drive. Northeast Metro, keeping it quiet up in Forest Lake. Before you hit that Forest Lake split, sometimes we see traffic slowing just a bit as people decide 35E, 35W and make your exit. But right now, we're keeping it at 55 to 60 miles per hour. Coming up in a little bit, I'll take a look at the airport, see how MSP International is looking on this very frigid Monday morning, but that's still to come a little bit later. Tom, back to you for now.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Kelsey. Hopefully keep that smooth sailing going. Alex Kendall's here looking on telling us about the 6 o'clock hour of the Fox 9 Morning News.
Hey,
Good morning, Alex. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. It's been a while. I had some nice time off, but we, of course, happily don't want that to die out on you.
We'll see some cars breaking down, I'm afraid, on the roads today.
Yeah, especially when it's this cold. Thank you, Alex. It is 10 below right now. Stick around.
Yeah, when it's this cold on the roadways, one thing that we do have to worry about is black ice forming. You still need moisture to make that happen, so a few areas are most susceptible. Just want to give you a quick warning. Places like this, 169 at 101, as you're approaching that river bridge, You're near a body of water. You're also going over a bridge, and a lot of those overpasses, bridges, ramps where cold air has a better ability to sort of pass above and beneath it, keeping it colder. That's one of the factors. Also, if you have some thick traffic a little bit later this morning where you have bumper to bumper conditions, yeah, that's where the exhaust actually has a chance to stick to that concrete. So a few places to keep in mind. You might see black ice today, but so far we are crash free. I hope we can keep it that way. This is the Monday when a lot of people are heading back to work for the first time after the holidays. So it's going to feel a little more crowded out there than it has been in the last 2 weeks. This is 36 at Dale Street, still quiet up in Roseville. We're not even to 7 o'clock yet. It's just 6:08. So right now we're just continuing to see traffic levels building. We haven't gotten to that slowdown point yet. Even 494 at 35W, one of our busiest junctions here in the metro. We're still moving along. Maps showing green conditions out of MSP International. We do not have any trending delays to report for you, so business travelers have a very happy flight today. It's 6:09 right now. We'll keep talking about that weather. It'll feel busy out on the roads today in the Twin Cities as people are back to work, some people for the first time since the holidays. So get ready for some congestion. And it's cold. We have the chance for black ice, but so far we are crash free. A look at 394 right now shows a good pace. We're keeping it that way most of the areas across the metro. I'll keep you posted on traffic throughout the morning. Stay with us.
Kelsey.
My husband insists that holidays are over. Everything needs to be cleaned up. I just have a little tree because it's a small condo, but I like the ambiance. I'm not ready to let the holidays pass. Let's take a look outside, shall we? For those of you who are heading back to work, a lot of you, this is your first time back on the roadways during the morning rush since the holidays happened. So expect today to feel a little more crowded out there. 494 at 35W, though, looking good so far. We're getting a little more crowded as time passes. Not enough to cause any big delays here or on 35E. This is up by Little Canada Road. Those of you who are commuting southbound, this is the right part of your screen. Those southbounders heading toward downtown St. Paul, almost at full speed. Now, we do have one sticking point in the metro right now. It's our first crash so far since 5 a.m. 94 at First Avenue. So this is those of you traveling westbound will find yourself coming upon this incident. It does look like a vehicle spun out. Now, today, with the temperatures being so low, it is possible to see black ice forming, especially when we start to see traffic slowing. Exhaust has a chance to actually freeze to the pavement. So in some of those places where there's heavy traffic, do be careful. Traction may not be perfect. As we travel, though, along the 94 corridor, drive times look pretty good in between Minneapolis and St. Paul right now, just under 10 minutes. It's 6:39 right now. Talking more about our weather is Keith Morrow.
Back.
Pep in your step.
You gotta you gotta hightail it wherever you're going.
And you find out how long you can go without breathing.
That's
Because you don't want to breathe in the cold stuff. You know, all right.
Nose hairs
Here we go.
freeze.
Totally.
Crunch,
Nose
crunch.
sticks together.
Just like that.
on this really cold morning, up for
It's like his hair is like hanging on.
I know. That's just as no.
Is it just the bust of Bigfoot, or is there more down below?
Was he
Yeah,
taking
what
a hot
happened?
tub? What was
Where-
that?
It was in the
Exactly, he did
swamp.
look like
he was
he-
just kind of walking
Oh,
around.
right,
Just
right.
that's what Bigfoot does.
I
Lurks
guess.
in the swamp.
Okay.
Glad you guys like that one.
There's
Yeah,
a Bigfoot
I
update.
believe.
Up next, yeah, we
I
can.
like the music.
Spend
Yeah,
half
music
your day
follow him.
getting up there, climbing up.
Yeah, 1,500 feet.
Wow.
I'll keep this job.
Just in a day's work.
And finally, something we missed
ST plunge,
Yeah.
Minnesota style.
off of his
There you
garage.
go.
Yeah.
Poor kids. They're never
stuff.
going to use that trampoline again.
Yeah, you're right. There's that.
Kind of
All
cool,
right.
though.
I like that.
6:47 now. Who had a hard
And happy Monday to all of you. The Monday that many of you are heading back to work for the first time in a little while, so it's going to be more crowded than we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Also today, with it being this cold, we do have the risk of black ice, so I want you to be aware of that. We have several crashes right now in the Twin Cities area, 3 within the metro on those major roadways. This is over in Oakdale, 94 at 494. Those of you commuting in the westbound lanes will find yourself slowing due to this right shoulder blocking incident. We'll take a look at the drive time over there on the east side in just a couple of minutes. First, let's take a look at the other crashes we're finding here in the Twin Cities. 35W at Stinson Boulevard. This southbound side crash is going to continue to slow those of you who are trying to commute heading in the southbound direction toward downtown Minneapolis. That drive time is going up. We'll also take a look at that in a second. But first, one more scene I want to give you a peek at this morning for those of you traveling 94 westbound, close to that 35W junction in Minneapolis. You're going to be slowing past this incident. Traffic's forced to move over, so you lose one lane of the interstate, which as we approach 7 o'clock, all of those lanes become very precious as we get very crowded. So we mentioned that 94 at First Avenue incident. We just saw that. Then 35W near Stinson Boulevard, that other crash, which has now taken our drive time and almost doubled it as you travel southbound from 694 to downtown Minneapolis. That drive about 16 minutes. Then over to the east side, that crash so fresh over in Oakdale at that 694 junction. It's not even showing up yet on our map. But those of you who are traveling from the Wisconsin line, So far, your drive time has not increased. It is going to start to creep upward right now, still just about 10 minutes for that westbound trek toward that crash. I'll be keeping you posted on how much that actually grows over time. And in the Northwest Metro, nice and quiet. We like it like that. South Metro, crash-free so far. We'll, of course, keep our eyes peeled. I'm afraid, guys, when it's this cold, the chance for black ice arises and we will see some more crashes. But I'll be standing by. Back to you.
All right.
Excellent driver.
Yes.
Yes.
Set an example for all.
That's right. And it's one of those mornings where you're not even sure if you're going to get out of the roads because it's so cold, your car doesn't want to turn over.
Yep, we're going to have some stalled vehicles today, some that never make it out of the driveway. And, you know, we maybe are 51 on the list of worst drivers, but today we have plenty of crashes. Crashes have occurred. That's really the main spot where we're seeing red here, Roseville on Highway 36, 35W, and then right here along the 94 corridor as you approach where we had that crash earlier. That was just cleared near First Avenue. Those of you who are traveling a little farther to the north notice a difference, looking more like green and easy going up there, even in Mounds View with that busy Highway 10 35W junction. Northwest Metro, the drive time starting to go up a little bit as our speeds start to come down a little bit. Right now, though, still from Rogers and Maple Grove, 9 minutes, and then 10 minutes as you travel 494 southbound from that Maple Grove interchange to the 394 junction. For those of you in the South Metro, we do have that 494 France Avenue incident to deal with, and that will affect especially the eastbound lanes of traffic. But then down here a little farther to the south in Burnsville, already traffic starting to thicken up a little bit. A reminder, we're finally getting back to the post-holiday-like traffic conditions today, so it's going to be more crowded than you've seen in recent weeks. You may want to allow yourself a little extra time as everybody adjusts, gets back to normal. It's 7:09 right now, so let's talk weather. It's cold out. Hey everyone, good morning. Everybody's back to work and back to school. You know what that means. The roadways are crowded this morning. You're going to find yourself sitting in the kinds of congestion levels you haven't really seen in a couple of weeks since the holiday celebrations began and vacations became staggered, and so did the drive time. So you'll see traffic moving slowly in general. Now, you get a couple crashes out there, which we have seen this morning, and it's even slower. 494 right now at Bush Lake Road. We're moving slowly both westbound and eastbound because not only did we have an incident here at Bush Lake, but also just east of here at France Avenue, another incident helping keep the 494 corridor congested this morning. Highway 36, a crash near Selling Avenue, keeping westbound lanes very crowded. As far east as 35E, our speeds go down to about 30 miles per hour on average. 35W, a couple different crashes as you're heading northbound into downtown Minneapolis. A lot of flashing lights. That's enough to get drivers to put their brake lights on. So our drive times are increasing in those areas where we've had crashes this morning. Like we see here, Highway 36, plenty of red. Those of you traveling 35W will find your drive time has increased to about 13 minutes from 694 into downtown Minneapolis. Also, Highway 280, an incident near University Avenue, causing a slight slowdown as you approach that 94 junction. Over here in the Southwest Metro, those are the two incidents on 494, so most of our slowdown concentrated right in that area in those eastbound lanes. But elsewhere, as we get more crowded, you'll continue to see more of that red and orange creeping in. The darker red it is, the slower it is. And as a reminder, today it is cold enough we could see some black ice conditions, so drive with caution. Right now, M.A. Roscoe bringing us some helpful tips just in time for how to take care of our cars when it gets this cold.
This morning.
Yeah, well, today it is a few things are happening. One, people are heading back from the holidays, so it's going to be a little more crowded than we've seen in a while. Two, it's cold enough we could see some black ice forming. We're looking right now at 94 and Pryor Avenue. We do have an incident here. And as traffic is slowing to pass by some of these crashes, that's when the exhaust has a chance to freeze on the road surface and cause some black ice. Now we're zooming around, so let's go on to my favorite tweet I just saw from one of our viewers, Lauren Dodge. This is her and her mom having a conversation in the car. Mom, can we please turn the radio on? Mom, no, I need to see if there's black ice on the road. Sounds just like my mom. You drive with caution. Sometimes you can't have the distractions. And today, it's good to not be distracted because there's already several of you that have come into crash situations here. Westbound Highway 36 is slowing due to an incident not that far from the 35W junction. 280 near University, an incident there slowing Highway 280 traffic. 35W southbound, an incident at Stinson Boulevard. That has since been pushed off the main line, but traffic still remaining. And a couple of crashes along the 35W corridor heading into Minneapolis, keeping traffic slow there from Richfield. Now to take a look at a few other of the crashes where we have more flashing lights going on, that is also going to contribute to the slowdowns we're seeing across the metro. So just again, drive with caution and do allow yourself some extra time, not just because of the crashes, but because everyone's sort of adjusting back to the post-holiday, more normal travel schedules. South Metro, a few hot spots, especially consider 494, a few extra minutes needed here. 2 separate crashes that have since cleared but left us with some very slow traffic for a couple of miles. It's 7:39 right now, so you know what that means. Time for a check of our weather. For a little while, you have that exhaust getting a chance to make contact with the road surface. That's where we can start to see that black ice forming. So again, just drive with caution. We don't want people to panic or anything, but good to get those winter driving skills out and ready. The crashes right now concentrated right in this central area of our metro. 494, patchy congestion, that entire westbound stretch. The crashes we've seen on 494 have been a little farther to the west, affecting the eastbound lanes, but those crashes have cleared. Other incidents, Highway 36 up near 35W, that finally cleared, but congestion stacking traffic up to 35E. Also, as you're traveling 280, a slowdown near University where we had a crash earlier. And as we look a little farther south, Cedar Avenue right now approaching that river bridge, a crash there. More of a distraction than actually blocking any part of the roadway, but not a bad idea since we're finally getting back to our regular traffic patterns post-holiday to just allow yourself a little extra time. We're taking a break right now, but we'll see. Blame it on the weather. It's so cold out there that a lot of our cars just aren't doing what we need them to do. 94 at Hemlock Lane, the latest stalled vehicle causing drivers to brake slightly as you approach the scene, but it looks like we're still moving enough. You don't have to worry about significant delays heading into Maple Grove on 94. But it's a different story for those of you battling past a stalled vehicle on 35E at Maryland Avenue. This is already a pretty tight squeeze, not much of a shoulder there as you're traveling southbound into downtown St. Paul. And when you have a stalled vehicle partially blocking that shoulder and now some flashing lights on the scene, that all contributes to the slowdowns as you're trying to make your commute. Right now, 94 at Pryor Avenue, we still have not cleared the crash, causing a slowdown for those of you traveling westbound from St. Paul to Minneapolis. Expect that drive time to have increased, especially from 35E to this scene at Pryor Avenue. Now, looking at our map, we do have plenty of hot zones. Keep in mind, it's going to be more crowded than you've seen in a couple of weeks out there on the roads as people are finally getting back to normal working schedules and kids are back in school. So just more crowded in general. But then you add the crashes like 94 at Pryor Avenue, Highway 280 at University, 35W at 26th Street, and Highway 36 up near 35W, and you have some extra red zones. We did have an incident also, Highway 62 at France Avenue, and this is a really busy time for the crosstown, especially there in Richfield. We did at least push that car off the main line. Also, a little color filtering in here on 494 westbound. That has to do with an incident at Pilot Knob Road. So do expect some slowdowns in the area. The little crash marker has not popped up quite yet, but the slowdowns are already in place. Also watch for an incident Cedar Avenue northbound approaching the river. It doesn't seem to be causing a big delay, but right now that drive time from 35E up to the crosstown will take you about 12 minutes. At 8:09 right now, Keith Marler is reminding us it's part of that left lane. We really haven't gotten a break from this congestion throughout the morning. That's that thick red line we see right there. Several crashes obviously to deal with. 35W still has a couple of those as you travel northbound. Highway 36 still slow from a crash earlier near that junction of 35W. So a few reasons to get out the door a little bit early and a reminder to drive with caution as the cold weather sometimes brings challenges on the roads. Guys.
All right. Thank you, Kelsey.